Jeremiah 20:13. Sing to the Lord, give praise to the Lord. He rescues the life of the needy from the hands of the wicked. So God is our rescuer. So we give thanks to Him and we sing His praises. I want to read to you about something that happened in the Bible and something that happened quite recently here. Diana and Heather were students from the Baylor University. They joined Shelter Now, a non-profit organization, and they went to work with the women in Afghanistan. Suddenly, they were arrested, and there were no details about why they were arrested, but the Taliban chief said that they were talking about Jesus. They were just praying for the sick women as they were working with them in the healthcare. For a month after their arrest, they were completely cut off from the outside world. Nobody knew where they were, what was happening, but people everywhere were praying for them. The first prison, they were confined to a small 10 by 10 foot cell, and then they were moved to another prison, and they would hear blood curdling screams, and sometimes they would witness them beating up other women to nearly their death. They were only Christians there and they were praying. Then they decided that God brought them here for a purpose, and they started to testify about the love of Jesus to all the women in the prison, and they were comforting them and they were reading from their Bible to them. They were not badly treated because they were the so-called high-profile prisoners. The whole world was watching them, and US was giving a lot of pressure. But at the same time, the US was at war with Afghanistan and Taliban. American bombs were striking Kabul, and they say that their prison walls were literally shaking, and all they did was pray. Suddenly, on November 12th, the Taliban soldiers burst into their cells and they were just herded into a van with other women, and they were moving towards the Kandahar desert. And suddenly they stopped and they were moved into a large container, shipping container, and they spent the night there with 20 armed Taliban soldiers. But when morning came, they were rescued. The opposition commander stood there and told the women, "You are free, you're free, you're free." Then they had to burn their headgears to hail down a helicopter that came to rescue them. And eventually they were reunited with their loved ones and their church and their university. So one thing that upheld them through it all was prayer, and God rescues the needy. He sent them there so that they could rescue so many of the Taliban women who were there, the Afghanistan women who were there, who were being persecuted by the Taliban. So God might take us through difficult situations, but He will rescue us. Through it all, everybody was hoping for a miracle like the miracle in the Bible. Here we read in Acts chapter 12 that Peter was arrested and he was put in prison. And Peter was sleeping between two guards being chained to them. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. The angel struck Peter on the side and woke him up. Quick, get up, he said. And the chains fell off Peter's wrists. Then the angel said to him, Put on your clothes and sandals. And Peter did so. Wrap your cloak about you and follow me, the angel told him. Peter followed him out of prison, but he had no idea that what the angel was doing was really happening. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first and second guards and came to the iron gates leading to the city. It opened for them by itself, and they went through it. When they had walked the length of one street, suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter came to himself and said, Now I know without a doubt that the Lord sent his angel and rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything they were anticipating. So they kept reading this. Dana and Heather kept reading this over and over again, and so many other passages in the Bible where they know that God rescued his people. And using these words, they comforted the women in the prison cell, and God really answered their prayer and rescued them. So today, sing praise, give thanks to the Lord, for he has rescued you. He has rescued you from so many sicknesses, from so many dangers, accidents, ill health. God is always rescuing us. Sometimes we may know it, sometimes we may not even know the things that God has rescued us from. But every minute of the way, God is with you. Trust in Him, love Him, because God is a loving God. His love is unlimited, His love is unconditional. God loves you.